This is clear. Okay. And now, if you look at the definition of the computer operating system, there is no universally accepted definition, right? It is as per the convenience which people have defined. Okay, so some have defined it as operating system means a kernel itself, where one program running all the time onto a computer is called as kernel, right? Some people, some may refer as daemons, right? Because they are being executed automatically and they exist till you're not shutting down the system. Okay, so in more cases, this is important. Now, if you look at the next interesting point with respect to the interesting point with respect to the operating system is that operating system is interrupted driven, right? OS is interrupt driven. Operating system manages interrupts, right? Okay. Let me have a discussion over here from you. What do you understand from an interrupt point of view? What exactly interrupt means to you? Yes. What
Yes,
it
sir.
means? What it means to you?
Sir, I think interrupt means they are disturbing to the original process when something comes.
Disturbance.
No.
Disturbance.
No. Interrupt means you are taking the word meaning as an interrupt. Okay. Uh, uh, okay. Let us try to think into this particular way. That you wanted to use a printer. So how will you define, how will you instruct the computer that okay, I want a printer? See for example, I am doing some work. I am doing some work and you wanted to interact with me. How you are going to uh, bring my attention to you? Certainly by interrupting me.
Yes, sir.
Yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
Certainly by interrupting. Okay, but when it comes to hardware, and a system which has certain resources in connected to or has certain resources with it, and you need to manage those resources, then you need to provide certain kind of a signaling, right? So that signaling is basically called as interrupt. So interrupt transfers a control of the interrupt service routine generally through the interrupt vectors, which contains the addresses of all service routines. Right. For example, I wanted to get um, a device. I wanted to get a device. So means what? I need to pass on interrupt like okay, I need a device. So system will come to know that okay, input device is required. So if input device is required, then the system checks whether that input device which is requested by you, whether it is available or not. If it is not available, then the service request is kept into a queue. So whenever the device is being available, it is being allocated to you. The thing is like that. So that there is a service routine, there is a service routine, and there is a request to a service routine that okay, certain service has to be performed. So you have interrupt vectors also defined. So if you look at these interrupts, then interrupts are particularly broadly classified into uh, two classes. One is called as maskable. One is called as maskable, and other is called as non-maskable. Okay. Uh, uh, Can you tell me the difference between these maskable and non-maskable interrupts? The students, those have learned microprocessor and interfacing or digital electronics. In that case, they must have come up with this particular two classes of uh, interrupts during their graduation. I want some inputs from your side onto this.
Sir,
Hmm?
sir, maskable interrupt happens with the software and non-maskable happens with the hardware.
Yes. So maskables are with means they are manageable. They are manageable. These are they are manageable. They are with the software part, and non-maskable are with hardware part. Okay. For example, can anybody gives me an example?
Sir, in software, maskable interrupt is like we want to use both the softwares at the simultaneous time, and
Hmm.
in the hardware, we want to use two types of hardware devices at the same time. Then,
Hmm. 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 No, no, but example, I need like, okay, what you have given me as a situation, right? Okay, but I wanted to understand a simple maskable interrupt and non-maskable interrupt. If you can give me, if you can tell me on that. Okay, what about this instruction? What is halt? So when I say halt means stop, right? Or terminate the execution from the same point. So whenever this halt instruction comes, entire thing goes down, right? So means what, you cannot revert it back, right? You cannot revert it back, or you cannot manage such interrupt. Once it is halt, it is halt. That's it. Okay, so they are non-maskable and they are high priority interrupts. Okay, so the priority will be high. They are actually high priority interrupts, and these interrupts are being by particularly for systems. Okay, they're being done by the system. So halt means halt. Say for example, you clicked on if you clicked onto a shutdown. So what is going to happen with the shutdown? Shutdown is shutdown. That's it. So nothing has to be checked here. Okay. So in case of this is maskable and non-maskable interrupt. So I think you should read this particular mechanism, right? You just go for learn by yourself. Yourself onto maskable, maskable and non-maskable interrupts. Okay, so you should learn it by yourself. So this is you can say this is the self-learning point, right? Since this has being done into your graduation, so this is a self-learning part. Okay, this is left at you for self-learning. Okay, so learn yourself maskable and non-maskable interrupts. Then here mm, there is a IVR. IVR is also there. That is called as interrupt vector what? routine, right? Interrupt vector routine. So this particular interrupt vector is this, right? IVR is part of IVR. Okay, so interrupt architecture must save the address of the interrupted execution. Okay, so for example, can anybody tells me like how recursive function is being executed? Can anybody tells me that? What is recursive function?
It's repeat again and again.
No, no, it's not repeat again and again. Recursive function, you should have a proper definition.
Solving problems.
No, no. Recursive definition. Recursive function. Tell me the proper definition of it. Recursive function. I need a proper definition of it.
Sir,
Hmm.
recursive function means the function that calls itself during the execution, and
Exactly.
it may
Exactly. Very well said. Very well said. When a function calls itself, it becomes recursive, right? So when a function, okay. So if a function, so if this function is there, right? This is your main program, and here there is a call, and call to what? Call to this particular function, right? And here, before this function end, this function is making a call to itself. So, right, this is say for example your main, this is function, right? And here at this particular part, at this particular point, what I am going to have, I'm going to have a call to a function where the same function I'm going to call fun function. So this function call goes again back to here, and this is okay. So if this is a main, and from main this is the function is called here, it went up here and start execution. Okay, so like then how we are going to define how you are going to define how you are going to define the sequence of instructions. Like see, from here again it calls here, it comes here, again goes here. Then when this function will come back here, right? When this function will come back to a function. So because this is where from where we started, right? And here it is going to end. Okay, so if this does get executed here, it will never ever return come back to here. So in this case, this become a recursive function. Okay, recursive function. Okay, now can you tell me like how this stack is being managed here? Any idea about? Because we know that whenever certain process is being executed, then the instructions are being placed onto a stack. Okay, so can you tell me like how the stacks are being here managed here?